Hey guys, it's Tony with Backwoods Biker Magazine and Wood Tramp Outdoors. Over the years, because of the importance of water filtration, we get a lot of questions about water filters themselves. So hang tight. I'm going to cover some of that for you right now. Welcome back. I'm a little house cleaning. Got coffee, got some deer sausage here. It's deer season right now. Man, is this good. So we're here to talk about water filtration, okay? So a lot of questions are often posed to us, whether it's, a one-to-one thing. If it comes through the email, we get something off the website through the magazine, or at a class or whatever. People are asking about water filtration devices. What is the best one? What is to avoid? So you saw all those that I had out in front of me. And all of those are in our rotation. Some of them get out more than others. And some of them I will never take out again. But we keep them just so that we have a redundancy in case we need them. So let's just talk about this. And I think I will go from, instead of going from company to company, I'm going to go categories, what I think is the proper way to categorize the water filtration devices that are available right now. Everybody remembers the Sawyer Mini. It's been around for years now. It's been copied and recopied again. People trying to reverse engineer these, but Sawyer came out with these. They have a superior paper filter that filters out 99.99999% of all cysts, protozoas, and bacteria. And those are the main things that you are going to find here in the U.S. in our water systems, in creeks, in lakes, things like that, where you're going to be drawing water out of that water source. And these are great. When they first came out, they were almost $30. Now you can find these on sale for $15 because they've been around for a while. But they are proven to do a great job. And that, well, I'll qualify this by saying this. Those are the positive things. They're easily transported. They're easy to clean out. There's a lot of things that you can do. These will screw onto a regular water bottle, and you can drink out of those. But the drawback on these is, number one, that's it. When you're talking about bacteria, protozoas, and cysts, nothing else is this going to help you with. No pesticides, no heavy metals, no viruses. There's one right there that is really dangerous. So you need to identify where you're going at and what could possibly be there. Contact your local Department of Natural Resources, the DNR, that might be there, or even the EPA. They can tell you what's in that water or could potentially be in that water to hurt you. The other thing is that because it is a super fine filter made out of paper, in freezing temperatures, if you allow this to freeze, it's done. You got to throw it away, because once it does, it has those little micron tears in it. Bacteria can get through it, the cysts, the protozoas, whatever, and you could end up very, very sick. So that is the down low on this here. Now, Sawyer came out with many products that has to do with water filtration, and we haven't found a bad one yet. Okay, and you're going to see some here, and I'll tell you why we have these. But that's the Sawyer Mini, which is a good choice, but it's limited. Who would be a candidate to use that? Well, day hikers. If you're going out on, just on a short camp, or if you want to throw it in a get-home bag, bug-out bag, or an e-bag for your vehicle, those aren't bad. But again, you got to remember, if the temperature is going to be dropping below 35 degrees, you're going to have to keep those up against your body to keep it warm, and then that might be an inconvenience, because they do, once you get water in them, they're going to continue to leak a little bit. Cold weather, I don't really appreciate water being up against my body. All right, this is another Sawyer product here, and I think this is called the Sawyer Squeeze. The Squeeze water filtration system. And if you can see the staples in here, that just means that we've used this and we put it back in here for storage. But this we used on a 3-day fishing trip, and you just fill up the bag and you hang it up, and you squeeze the bag and it'll filtrate your water. Let me see here, I got my glasses here, I'll put this on. It comes with 3 different pouches. It's got a 16-ounce pouch and 2 64-ounce pouches. It's got the gravity tube. You got a mesh bag with a hanging loop where you can put the bag in it and hang it up and let it drip out. Everything you need. Inline hydration pack adapter. You know, there's all kinds of stuff in here. Prices we'll try to throw up on the screen here for you and the website. But everything that you can think about with the Sawyer Mini, this is the bigger brother, and it does a great job. But again, it's got the paper filter in it, so you got to be careful on your temperature ranges that you're going to be in. Another filter that is along the same lines is this one from Rapid Pure, and this is better than these in the fact that it has a ceramic filter in it. And with a ceramic filter, it's much more difficult to freeze it. It can, but if you freeze a ceramic filter, more than likely you could get by with it 1, twice, maybe 3 times. I wouldn't trust it after that. But it's very, very simple to use this. You know, I don't have it all put together right now because this particular one, we never, ever engaged it and got it put together. But I can tell you, all you do is you drop it down in the water and you suck on the tube to get your water out. It's just like a filter, or excuse me, a Sawyer Mini, except it has a ceramic filter. The downer on this is, it is a little heavier, and it will hold water a lot longer. So if you're trying to keep it from freezing up against your body, you're going to get wet with this guy right here. And I'll be honest with you, this really didn't impress us because you got to suck your brains out sometimes to get water with one of these. So, I mean, yeah, it can be an alternative, and because of the fact, the only reason that we kept it around here to talk to you about the freeze aspect. These don't freeze as bad. Kind of in the same category then. All right, then, you know, if you want to move up just a little bit here, I don't know which one I want to grab you. Let's grab this other Sawyer here. But it's, again, it's the same exact concept. Their platform all surrounds on that Sawyer Mini style of paper filter. This one's called the Gravity System. You get a gallon bag with this, and we've used this in longer hunts, being out in the woods, you know, for more than 3 days. You fill up the bag, you hang it from a tree, you can even lay it down off of the table and let the hose hang, and you've got water available to you at all times. And it does the same job, you know, 99.9999% of bacteria, cysts, and protozoas, but that's it. But that's the convenience thing for this. It's good for a camp. But again, you got to remember, it does have its limitations. You're not going to be hanging it out there when it's 32 or below 0, or below 32, definitely not at 0. Number one, your bag's going to freeze, but your filter's just going to explode on you. All right, let's go to this one here. This is one that we've kept around. We used this, we took this out, and we used it, and we were totally frustrated the whole time that we were using this thing. And I believe this is a pre-filter here. Yeah, that goes down in the water. This comes from Survivor Filter. I don't remember exactly if this came from the company that sent it to us or if it came through a battle box. Matter of fact, I think it did come through a battle box. Does it work? Yes, it does work, but it has the same premise as these other filters that are made with paper filters. Okay, it's got a pre-filter here that is a paper membrane, and it has another one in here, I believe. Let's just check this out because it's been a while since I've had this out. I didn't care for, yeah, it's got another filter right there. And the way this works is you throw this side down in the water. It's got this stopper here that you can move up and down, right? And then this hose goes into this container, and then you just simply pump your water. And it does work, but it took us a long time to be able to fill this up, and we didn't know if there was something defective or what. But when we reached out to the company told us there was no defects in it at all. You know, just it's not real fast. So, you know, 2 downers for me on this. Number one is that fact that it takes you forever, you know, to be able to get your water. Number two, I said a couple things. Number two, look at all this stuff. I mean, you're talking about a huge footprint, and you know, I've told you before, I'm kind of impatient when it comes to this stuff, and I really don't care to jack with this much gear over something that doesn't perform exactly the way that I was hoping it would. It comes with a little plunger in it. I mean, it's not bad, and it would work in a pinch. And that's the reason why that we've kept it around here, because we're wanting to show you this type of stuff. And you know, I mean, there's some positive benefits to it, but for me, the negative far outweighs the positive. But then we get down to that other situation with paper filters. You know, they're going to freeze if it gets too cold on you, and that's something that you want to avoid if at all possible. So I'm just going to stick this off to the side as well, and then we're going to talk about getting into the more serious heavy hitters. By the way, this Survivor filter I just showed you with the pump, it also will filter out 99.999% of all bacteria, protozoa, and cysts. But what if you're going to an area that might have viruses in it? Well, there are some options here, and although this is a Sawyer, this is a Sawyer that's called the S1 Select, Sawyer Select filter, and it will take out not only the bacteria, the protozoa, and the chemicals, but it takes out chemicals, but it takes out pesticides as well. And it includes a micro squeeze filter, which is right here, and there's also a membrane on the inside of here. And I do want to be able to mention this to you. I want to read it to you. It says there are 1,600 uses. Costs you about 4 cents a use, it says. Removes bacteria, protozoa, cysts, chemicals, pesticides, improves the taste and the odor. And again, 99.9% for the bacteria, protozoas, and cysts. But this is the important part. It reduces chemicals down to 0.5 parts per billion, up to 40 times lower than the EPA's maximum recommended level. It does a great job of this. It reduces pesticides down to 0.01 parts per billion, 400 times lower than the EPA. So it really does the job. And all you do is fill up the bottle with the water, then you screw this on the top, turn it upside down, and squeeze it out, and you've got very clean, purified water. Now, whereas these are in the lower budget, you know, the ones that I showed you from Sawyer, like the Sawyer Mini, you can get those for less than $20 now. This pump style filter, you know, is probably around $30, $35, and this gravity system here, they're all using the same type of technology. I think this is around 40, maybe 50 bucks. This one here is a little less than $100. But it does a great job. Where would you use this? If you are suspecting that your water source or the waterways, the streams, the lakes, the jetties, whatever, you might have runoff, which we have that here. When I say runoff, I'm talking about agricultural runoff, that you need to be able to get rid of those viruses. You need, not viruses, you need to get rid of the chemicals and the pesticides. This is the guy, okay? Now again, this is going to run you a little bit more money than what those do, but it does a very good job and does what's advertised. Sawyer has done their homework. Now, the next one from Sawyer, and you know, this one, this kicks it up quite a few notches here, because not only does it take care of the bacteria, the protozoas, cysts, chemicals, and pesticides that does, but it also does viruses and heavy metals. Okay, so if you are someone that is going to go up in the high country, where you have to get your water out of a stream or a creek or a lake where animals are frequent, and you want to make sure that you don't get any of those viruses, because you can get really sick from that. This is the type of filter that will help you out. If you happen to be going to a third world country that has no EPA, they do not regulate what comes out of factories into their main waterways. And yes, plenty of countries out there that do not. And I've spent a lot of time in West Africa, and I can tell you they're not near as careful as what we are. And you have to be super careful. I got sick twice. Once in Nigeria, once in Accra. I was in the city of Accra, of Ghana. I was in Ghana. I got sick really bad. And if I would have had this filter with me, I wouldn't have gotten sick, because it takes out all the viruses. And that's what I got. I got sick by a virus. But I'm sure, there's no doubt in my mind, with the way that they dump crap off into their water, that heavy metals is there. Now, are we totally free from that? No, it's not. You watch the news, out in the east, in the mountainous areas where they're doing mining, and they're processing coal, and they're dumping sludge water into their main waterways. I guarantee you, there's heavy metals. And they've done investigations. They found heavy metals in those waters. So if you're going out hunting out there, or camping out there, trapping out there, whatever, this would not be a bad idea to take something along these lines. And again, you're talking around $100 for this thing, but it is some pretty good insurance when that happens. So now we're gonna move on to what I consider to be the heavy hitters here. This particular system came from MSR. And I'll tell you how I got introduced to this. I met a guy that is an outdoor gear influencer. And he asked me not to use his name for some reason. I don't know why. But we were talking, and I had asked him what was the best filtration system that he had ever used. And he told me it was the MSR Guardian. And he had a video on his phone with him and his team, two other people on his team, another man and a woman, that were in India on the Ganges River. Now, if you don't know anything about the Ganges River, do yourself an educational favor and look it up on the internet and watch that river and see what the people do. They have no filters as far as what they're putting in the water. There's no constraints, man. They doo-doo in that water, they pee in that water, they bathe in the water, they do everything in that water. And then, of course, they let the animals that are sacred do whatever they want in there. They don't want to upset their mojo by screwing with the animals. He dropped this in there, and that water, man, the water was just as brown as could be. He dropped this in the water, pumped it out with this into a Nalgene bottle. This has got threads in it for a Nalgene bottle or a quick clean bottle, and pumped it out and then poured it out, and it was crystal clear, and he drank it and he didn't get sick. I'm telling you, if you've got a filter that can take that stuff out of the Ganges and drink it without getting sick at all, that really got my attention. So I reached out to MSR. We ended up with one of these in our possession, and I've used this. Our team has used it probably at least 50 times. There's still a little bit of water left in it from the last time. There are a lot of benefits other than being able to filter out all bacteria, protozoa, cysts. It does chemicals, it does pesticides, it does heavy metals, it does viruses, it does the whole gamut, all right? And it is usable over and over and over again. And what I really like about this is that it is a self-cleaning filter. You hear it sucking up there? It's got a pre-filter on this end that you just throw in the water, and it's kind of weighted down. You know, that was one of the downfalls that we had to jack with, to make sure that when we threw it in the water, that it was kind of downstream from us, because it kept wanting to tangle up and get out of the water. But it is a self-cleaning filter. It back flushes itself, right? And the filter itself will last you for many, many years. They are replaceable, but they're not cheap. So that would be the thing that I would say would keep me from going out and purchasing this filter, because now there are some alternatives. You're going to see one here. But this is a great filter. If you are a world traveler, or you're going into high country. When we used this, we were out for probably 4 or 5 days, and we had to keep filtering water out. This is the one that we took with us. It does a great job. You know, as far as performance, you're not going to find a better pump filter than this. It processes a lot of water very, very quickly. That's another consideration. You know, you're talking about a Sawyer Mini. You're going to suck your eyeballs out trying to do what this does in just a couple minutes time. So what is the downfall for this? Well, it does have a big footprint. It will fit off in this bag, and that bag, I got big hands, that bag is a little bit bigger than my hand. So it takes up a big footprint in your backpack. And you know, I don't like to carry a heavy bag with me, and I definitely don't like to waste space. So if I can find another alternative, then I do. But if not, this is a great system. The other downfall with it is its price. They fluctuate between $300 and $400, and I don't know that they ever go on sale. Now, that is a heck of an investment. I realize that. But I'm going to have some good news here for you in just a second. But if you're wanting something that you can really be confident in, and you're not worrying, because that happens when you're out. You know, if you're in another country and, you know, you're filtering water, it's always on your mind, because once you get sick, you know, especially if you're on your own, it could be a bad day for you. This would take some of that stress off of you. So now I'm going to show you what I consider to be one of the best, if not the best filter that's out there right now, and that is this guy right here. That is the Grell GeoPress. Now, Grell was suggested to us probably a couple years ago, and we've seen one or two in person, and really couldn't get my hands on it, you know, to examine it well. But we reached out to Grell. Grell sent us a couple of these GeoPresses, and oh no, they sent us one, and then another one came in a battle box of all places, the smaller version. This is the bigger version, the GeoPress, but it takes out everything that this does. And so, you know, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, this is a performer. The difference between this and this is that this will continue to pump and pump and pump and pump until your arm gets tired, and you can fill up, you know, a 55-gallon barrel with this, as long as you got enough arm strength, you know. This is one and done deal. Not one and done, but I mean, you fill it up, you filter it, you drink it, you go back and you do it again and again and again. But there are so many positives for this thing that you just can't get around it. You know, it's light, it's got a small footprint, and you saw that I had this carabiner on here. I hang this on the outside of my pack. It doesn't even go in the inside of my pack. You know, it'll hang on the outside of, you can't see this, can you hear? Yeah, this is a haversack. It'll hang on the outside strap of the haversack, and I carry this around. It's just, you know, I can't say enough about this thing. This has turned into my favorite filter because it's small, it's compact, it's light, and it does a fantastic job. I don't have to worry about what water I'm drinking now that I carry this with me. Now, these are very, very simple to use. All you do is take out, excuse me, yeah, come on out. You take this out. This is the outer sleeve, okay? This is the inner chamber. That's all. This is my my terminology, okay? This is the inner chamber where your fresh water goes into, and I'll show you this in a minute. But this is the filtering system, and it's handy dandy. And you can change these. You know, I forget what they cost. They're not a lot of money, but you fill this up, right? And then you stick your filter in like this. Loosen the cap to let the air escape. As you push it down, your water comes up into this inner chamber and filters out everything that could be dangerous to you. Now, one thing I want to tell you that is awesome is that you have no chance of cross-contamination if you're careful. I mean, if you get stupid and put this in, you're done. But you don't have no cross-contamination. There's no way. And then all you do is unscrew this, and you are drinking pure water. It's great. The cost on these are the same as these, less than $100. So if I'm going to buy a filter, this isn't a commercial for Grail. They don't pay me anything. If I'm going to buy a filter and I'm spending $100, this is the guy that I'm going to get because it does much better job than what this does, right? Once you hit your maximum uses with this, you throw that away. Once you hit your maximum uses with this, you just change the filter. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. And now I just received notification from Grail that they are releasing, or they just released, a titanium version. And once we get one of those in, we'll make sure that we show you. So the long and short of all this is that all these filters have their place. But you have to know where you're going. You have to know your water source. And again, the DNR and the EPA can be your friend. They'll tell you what you need to filter out, and be very careful. Listen to what they say. They're the experts. All these have their place, and these will stay in our rotation. I'm not giving these away. I'm not selling. I'm not getting rid of these. These are it. But, you know, if somebody said, Tony, I've got $100 to spend on a water filter, what would you recommend? That guy right there. You're not going to get a better water filter. Grail, great job. Great job with everybody else that we mentioned here. It's just, you know, it's different. It's not apples to apples and oranges to oranges. When you're talking about this versus this, ain't happening. This has got its place, but not in the same stratosphere as this. So thanks for the question. You know, water is super important to us. 3 days without it and you're going to be a dead person. So I appreciate your support and all that you do. So until next time, you guys ride free, you live free. Right now it's cold out there, 23 degrees. Stay warm and stay hydrated.